Spook Coast to Coast.
Nice. Hello, welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
We have Joy.
What's up, guys?
Tell the good folks hi, Joy.
Tell everybody what's
Hi,
up.
guys. Hi, good folks. How are you?
All right, and here we have Jenny and Mondo, 305 Paranormal.
My wrist hurts. Ignore that.
Yeah.
I'm from kicking ass.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know.
She ran out of bubblegum, guys.
Yeah. So tonight we have a super awesome show for you guys. We have Isaac from the Hidden in the Shadows podcast and Hidden in the Shadows Paranormal, both on Instagram. And we have another friend of ours that he does work with online that I've seen personally is Mike from the Unknown Paranormal. We're trying to get him on, but he's having connection issues. So whenever he does, I will pop him in here. But first we can learn about Isaac and everything he does. So let's get him on here.
I had to do it, Jen. Hey. Hello.
How's it going?
What's up? Let me see. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for being on.
Thank you for
coming
being on with us. We appreciate it.
I'm trying to write Mike at the same time.
He'll
Aren't
always
you
have
huh? Has he written you?
something wrong happen for him.
Oh my gosh. Tell everybody, tell us about you, where you're from. That's what we are trying. Okay. So he says they're trying.
All right. No,
We're waiting on him. Tell us about you.
Isaac from Hidden in the Shadows podcast and Hidden Shadows Paranormal. We have a podcast talking about all things paranormal as we have been going around since 2020. The show I co-host with my wife, Megan. During the during the beginning of the show, between September 2020 and then now, we started not changing what we talked about, but we started including the odd things that happened to me and Megan, including about me and my ability that kind of came to me or woke it in me in September of 2020. And from then on, the point I have become, I don't know. But I've had my ability now that since that point in time, and we've helped 32 home cases. 18 of those have been with Mike. He's been kind of my connection to certain locations because of almost 2 years ago, I figured how to use my ability through the phone in real time, like we're talking now. And it's allowed me to help people across the entire world, from Australia, from Portugal, from Canada. We're real big in Canada. All parts of the United States, Mexico. There he is.
You're speaking about Mike. Hey, Christy.
Welcome, Mike and Christy. How's it going?
My beautiful people. What's up?
Mondo, what's up? Isaac, what's up, bud?
Good.
Hi, guys.
JJ Current.
I don't know if your speaker is causing like a
Interference.
big time interference. Can you hear it? It might be your Bluetooth. Maybe they're too far apart. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Big time. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Sound like you were.
It sounded like R2D2 in the back.
Where are the droids?
Yeah, for real.
Alrighty, Isaac.
Continue, my
buddy.
friend.
But when me and Mike first met in a round table, when I started putting paranormal round tables together for our podcast around Halloween, I reached out to a lot of different paranormal teams that we followed or followed us. Unknown Paranormal was one of them that we became good friends with. They became on the show. They talked about their experiences, and then Mike had an incident happen to him that actually had him call out and ask me for help with a situation that was going on in his home. And I was able to help him remove one demon with two minions from his home that were oppressing his son and going after his wife. After that day, from that day forward, we been working together and become almost close as brothers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys do get on a lot for sure. I can't get on all the time because either I'm going to sleep for work or in the middle of doing something with my kids or whatever, but I try to pop on when I can.
Yeah, I jumped on one of your guys' live once, but I ended up getting a
It was on
phone
the last
call.
one.
You see,
Yeah.
he was on the last one. It's somewhere all over the place. Oh my God.
Then I ended up popping off because I got a phone call. So
The one that you helped out Mike, I think that was the situation that you had talked about us with us before. Is that was bothering your son, Mike, or no?
What's that? Sorry.
The one where Isaac helped you, was that where? Remember, I think we had talked about it before, like probably like a year ago. I think with your wife.
That was with our home case, like here
Yeah.
at my house.
Yeah. Okay, that was that.
Yeah.
And have you had anything since, or everything's been
No.
good? Or?
No. It's kind of cool because it's like, so the wife and I have a rule where we don't investigate anything to do with the paranormal if the kids are home. You know, we don't want to bring anything negative to them. So our way around that is having Isaac's connection, where it's as simple as me having a phone call, FaceTime, just like this. And I'll be like, hey, bud, can you just check my house really quick? No one needs to know. I've done it with a house full of people. And it's like a 3-minute thing. And it's like, oh, no, you're good. You know, or, okay, you had some, you had like a watcher or shadow guy in your living room, but he's gone now. Don't worry about it. You're all good. But in the moments, like Isaac just said, and what we've said during our lives is you feel that right away, right? If you're paying attention to it, you feel the change like instantly.
Yeah.
Right. So do you think it was something that came home with you from an investigation or an object or you...
Yeah. So we were at a local cemetery, Boot Hill Cemetery. It's tied with a old prison ground that we have in New Westminster.
Mhm.
And Christy was actually sitting on the park bench, and we were conducting a 𝐸𝐿𝐭 experiment made
Right.
famous by War Party Paranormal. And during our time doing the experiment, Phil was the one asking questions to Christy, and I was kind of filming in the back.
Mhm.
And during the part of the investigation, Phil started turning really nasty. It was like he was having a one-on-one experience with a spirit that was there or whatnot.
Wow.
And it was getting like, it was like one was taunting the other. And the worse that it got, the more Christy would freak out during 𝐸𝐿𝐭 throughout the responses. And then it turned out to where it was like, well, I'm tired of you calling me names. So if you're just going to sit here and call me names or we're trying to talk to you,
Mhm.
we're just going to leave. And Christy's reply on the 𝐸𝐿𝐭 experiment was, what if I take this one? And
Oh.
then the goggles still turning like still red. Christy yells out, all I could see is black. Who's standing in front of me? All I could see is black. And me and Phil are like, the goggles are on. I don't know what she's saying about seeing black. And long story short, it turned out she kind of panicked, was like, I'm done. We got to leave this.
Mhm.
And then we carried on, went home, and days later it was like my son was what, 4 at the time, started drawing pictures of like people being decapitated,
Oh,
blood
hell.
and gore, and he
Crazy.
doesn't watch this stuff on
Are you
YouTube.
getting,
They don't
are you
watch
getting
horror
chills,
shows
Jen?
on
I'm like
TV.
getting full-blown chills.
No, because I know this story. He told me when it happened, so I know about the story. It's fucking nuts.
Still
That
not
is
easy to
crazy.
And it's
hear.
very, it's
For
very
your
It's not easy to
3-year-old?
hear because kids are involved.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what freaks me
Yeah.
out even more.
For sure.
Sit.
That's crazy.
And yeah, so it was like blood and gore, decapitation, and then finally Christy and I were like, what's going on with Gray, right? And we're like, I'm not sure. Like, is it this? Is it that? And then it started dawning on us our most recent investigation.
Mhm.
And that was like the only investigation we did at the time because the weather and stuff like that. And it was kind of making sense. Well, what we were noticing is there was no more visitors wanting to come by to visit. Like family didn't want to come by for coffee. No one wanted to come see the kids. They would call, but no one would physically come here. The invites of going out for coffee or hanging out with people kind of started dissipating. And then Christy's like, we need to go for a drive. We need to talk about this. So we went for that drive. And she's like, listen, we got to call our friends. We've always made a promise about not investigating the house while the kids are home. Something needs to be done.
Right.
So as a paranormal investigator, you kind of got to figure out where you draw the line. Where do we put our guard down to allow help, especially when it comes to your own children?
Yeah.
And as soon as she mentioned, let's call Isaac and Megan, it was no hesitation. We came home, we called. It was like, shit, 10 o'clock our time, to 1 o'clock in the morning, Isaac and Megan's time. Isaac got on the phone, and literally a 20-minute phone call of me on a live or a video chat with Isaac, walking around my house to where he found 3 dark entities. One down here in the living room where we're sitting, that was kind of in the corner watching where we would be, like where we would sit as right now. One in the master bedroom. I believe that was like a lizard-like creature. He was crawling on the ceiling. And the third one, surprisingly enough, was a demonic being standing in the corner of my son's bed, kind of watching over top of him.
Oh wow.
And 25 minutes. Isaac pulled all 3, and I felt the change right away. It took Christy about a couple days to realize like things have changed. And then the phone calls started coming in, like, "Hey, you guys home for coffee?" Like all the stuff that once took
It was
place
like
in our home,
yeah, it was like it was lifted.
is
Yeah.
finally coming back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
since that day, like, I mean, we call each other brother. Like our friendship has grown to that level where it's like a weekly phone call, at least a couple times a week. It's become more family orientated than just a friendship.
That's awesome.
Now, where are you at in the U.S.? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh,
Canada.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's really cold up there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you're in a whole different country. Okay.
Yeah.
I love Joy.
Well, that's awesome.
But,
awesome.
yeah,
That's cool that you
he's
guys
dropped a
connected.
couple
Yeah.
sorries that you can tell right away.
His accent, yeah.
I know.
love
I
it.
hear a little bit, but I didn't know if it was like a Southern. I was trying to make it out.
No, it's
I was waiting-
Canadian.
I was waiting for the
Hey.
you know.
Little twang.
Yeah,
Just wait till when all the buds start coming out. Like, what's up, bud? How's it going, bud?
That's cool.
Man,
Oh,
and now how many cases you guys have done together?
Together, 18.
Wow, that's really
18
great.
calls. Until this day, since Isaac has come aboard, not one phone call have we ever got saying you need to come back and redo a job. Not one
Wow,
phone
that's amazing.
call that came back that said you have failed or things have gotten worse. Everything has been on a positive plus. The most popular one that we have a receipt for, and that's Dal's story on Isaac's podcast, Hidden in the Shadows. Dal herself, she lives about an hour away from me. We helped her 11-year-old son with that whole story. And until this day, like we just celebrated with her 4 or 5 days ago now. It was like a year anniversary of her son, saving her son. But as we did that, we actually strengthened and helped save a marriage all at the same time.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
With Dal's case, it was she consistently thinks it was about at least once a month messaging us saying, "Oh, I love you and Megan," blah 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 blah. It's like she sends us like consistent thank yous about once a month, and progress on her son's how he is, because when he was being oppressed, it got so bad for her son that he couldn't walk. He would drag himself on the floor because it was in so much pain, or they were affecting him so badly. In her case, it was the spirit of a witch with 3 demons in her stead. And she had also a portal about the size of a swimming pool outside her house in the backyard. So taking those entities away and closing that portal, clearing her son's mind forest, clearing her mind forest, and pulling out dark energy, and Megan remote viewing into the location, putting down a nice spell of protection of light energy to basically push everything out. She hasn't had anything since then. And she literally says it's like it never happened. Like she went someone through the worst stuff ever. And within a 30-minute call, it switched to like it never happened. And she's, like I said, continues thankful. And that the fact that she remembers this so vividly, like she never forgets this, and she consistently thanks us. Me and Mike were talking one time, like it must have been worse for her than she let us know. Like it must have been far worse for her than what she let us know how bad it was.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. You said she had a portal in the back.
Yeah.
Why do you think? What do you think caused that there, or was there like a body of water? Just curious. In the back of our house. I don't know why I even said that.
We have our suspicions, but that portal was put there. It wasn't conjured up. It was a natural exposure. It was put there with purpose. And me and Mike have speculated who could have done it, but we know for sure it's put there. And closing a portal, closing one, is far more difficult than, say, grabbing an entity. I always describe it like trying to grab a rubber disc that's about 1 inch thick and trying to squeeze it close. It's a stress on the hands, I can tell you that much. But no, it was able to close it. It was able to like remove all the stuff from her home. Tell her that her son has a very strong psychic ability, and this is kind of why they were after him in the first place, why they chose him. And she's able to help her son, but her son kind of didn't want anything to do with it. He was scared of the whole ability. Might come back to it later, but as of right now, he's going to suppress his abilities. I think he's 13 now, so he might later in life acknowledge it, because ability like his can't stay submersed for long. And the older you get, that ability like that will make itself known. It will not go ignored.
So
maybe, and also in the teenage years, it might ramp up too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when you say put there, do you mean like brought by she brought an object home and it was put in her house, or somebody came and put,
somebody intentionally
person that did it.
So somebody came in the house and unknowingly, or to their not knowledge, they didn't know what they were doing, or they didn't suspect that person was doing anything bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow. This is why I don't like people coming over. You gotta be careful who you bring in your house. Yeah. I'm curious because I have haunted dolls. So I'm curious if do you like pick up stuff, or
if I reach through the phone, I can.
just sitting here. Can you feel anything? Maybe
where's your haunted doll? Is it behind you?
Maybe I shouldn't ask.
Yeah.
Where are your haunted dolls?
From reaching around, it's that way.
So to my left?
You're right.
Okay.
Whatever is to your right and slightly up. And if you were planning to keep those dolls haunted, tough.
Oh.
So what do you mean keep them haunted? Like, what does that mean?
It means I took all the dark energy from them.
You know what's funny is my dolls, right? When I first got them, they were very active, and then they kind of died down, and they kind of had their mind of their own where they want to be active and they don't. So lately, I did this session with Connections with Ashley. I don't know if you guys know her or follow her on Instagram. We did this live session with our dolls. Ever since, I don't want to say anything if you're watching, Ashley, but ever since we did that,
damn doll. Like, no, I'm playing.
Yeah, no, they're like super active. And I have a tiny 4-pound dog. She hates whenever I want to do a session. I can try to do sessions, like trying to contact a loved one. Doesn't bother her. But as soon as I do anything with my dolls, she starts shaking. She wants me to pick her up. And I don't know. It was ever since that session, though.
Well,
I don't know if.
Well, I should clarify. I only ever pull dark energy.
Okay.
Evil, negative. I've only ever done that. I only ever will. I never take any person, human, ghosts, or spirits off the plane with
Mhm.
distance. I only ever take anything dark because I don't give them a choice.
Right.
If something dark and negative is attached to a doll or an object whatsoever, it can affect people around them. Well,
Right.
it's not like continuous affection. Like it will choose its time and it will pick, wait, and it will, it'll figure you out. That's why when
Yeah.
people think they have a haunted object that hasn't bothered them in the years they have it, it's because it's waiting. It's choosing its right time. Just because
Mhm.
it's not working at right now doesn't mean it never will.
Right.
And that's why I never allow any negative energy to be attached to anything that I come in contact with. That's why, for fun, I go through TikTok swiping, and anytime some paranormal investigator is live or someone showing off haunted objects, I'll reach through, pull anything dark from the location, put it in the ring. It's like practice for me. It keeps me fit, essentially, with my ability. So
Right.
I
Right.
do that all the time. And it's funny when I come across psychics, people doing readings for payments or whatever, stuff like that.
Mhm.
There'd be two reasons why I reach into your location and I pull something dark from a psychic's home. It's either you're not a psychic and you're basically putting on a charlatan act, or you're using said negative energy because it's attached to something to boost your psychic abilities. There have been psychics known who do that. So either way, I don't give you a choice. I take away what could be harming you or what you are using.
So there was something here that was dark.
Yeah, it wasn't strong. I would call it muck. It's like almost like the junk that's attached, that an entity would leave behind.
I'll keep you guys posted next time I do a session, and if my dog starts, is better, because I'm telling you, every time she does not like me with the dolls, especially with my dolls. I recorded her. She does not like it.
So what I was kind of
maybe that was it affecting her. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll
so her husband sees these. I didn't know until I saw that thing, and then she was like, "Well, that's how Joey sees them. Joey sees something crawling on the walls." And I was like, "That's what I saw when we were doing that live one. We were doing a live one time for backstory." Yeah. And Joey had a mirror. Actually, he was in the. You know what? Now, in the live of that day that happened. So the reason why I just said that, I just kind of clicked on my brain because he's the one that sees that thing.
Was it the day we were doing the dolls? No.
I don't remember.
I
gotta go back. I don't remember, but I know he was. I will have to go back just to look at the feed because I know what the video itself setup looked like.
Okay.
But he was there with you. And so when he was talking, I'm looking at you guys at the screen, and then there's the mirror behind her, and then I can see a reflection off the mirror, something that was like on the top here, and it went around into a room or some shit. And I was just like, they're talking, and I'm just looking at the background like, yo, what the hell did I just see? And then when the live was over, I went through to look at that again to see if that even got caught on, the recording, but it's not. So I don't know if I just saw it because I've done that too, where I've done it too, but I will look at something where I'm looking at how you're saying a live stream, and I can see something live happen. And sometimes when I go back, it's not there. It's happening live at that moment. And I can, I guess, see it mentally or whatever. But I could have swore I saw it there. So she was that's how he sees them. He sees them on the wall crawling. And I was like,
yeah,
I saw that.
I think that might have been the episode. I think that might have been the episode with the dolls. I'm looking right now.
Mondo, you experienced
it was the doll
an
thing, that's
attachment,
pretty
haven't
wild.
you?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it. You can't see it.
What?
I said Mondo experienced an attachment not too long ago, didn't he?
Oh, it's been over. It's gonna be 2 years. It's 2 years.
2
wow.
years. Yeah. Well,
so how long?
2 years in October.
It'll be 2 years this October. There you go.
And with the methods that you guys implemented to help Mondo deal with his attachment, how long was that time frame?
I was on a funk for, I'd say, about a week. Not gonna lie.
I would say like 2 weeks. I think to me it takes longer.
I just went through so many like different stages. I felt I was depressed for a long time. I was depressed because I felt like I wasn't strong enough to not let that attach itself to me, and the fear in her eyes of what was going on to me is what caused me to be depressed. Like I'm not man enough to protect her. So it was just depression, anger. I was angry because, that was happening to me. Just fearful for my kids. And I just did a lot of, baths, salt baths, cleanses, saging.
Yeah, I was like
prayers.
Literally, you gotta do it like
I had to do. Yeah, I had a routine that we
every
worked
night,
on.
Couple weeks and stuff like that,
and a lot of sea salt like, cleanses.
That's
and
how I
things
cleanse
like that.
myself.
And yeah, like after a week, I finally felt like I was right. And also thank you to Joe. Between Jenny and Joe, they kept my mind
your
right.
sanity.
Yeah,
That's great, though. That's great.
Yeah.
But I don't think he doesn't, that I know of, to my knowledge. I don't think you've experienced anything like that.
Ever since, no.
And we went back to that location, and that shit was totally different.
Wow.
And what I will say
like night and day.
is everybody, please. I tell everyone that I care about that does this, for a living, or they want to do it as a hobby, or whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Please, say your intentions. Whatever you're gonna do, just make sure that with respect. And if you don't feel good, set your boundaries as soon as you leave that location. Hey, you're not allowed to follow me or my friends or my loved ones, whoever you're investigating with. You're not allowed to attach yourself to me or my partners. You must stay here. You're not welcome to follow us. You make sure you set those boundaries, because if not, they're going to hitch a ride for free on you.
Yeah.
No, that's great advice, Mondo.
Before I forget, thank you for removing whatever that dark stuff was here.
So what
I know that was kind of like a
I don't know, the creepy crawler.
yeah, like hey, give me.
No, yours. I measure it in levels. I call it smoke and sand.
Okay.
When the energy in my hand, if it feels like smoke, because you can grab smoke, you can move it around, stuff like that. So it has very light texture. When I pull and it feels like smoke or muck in my hand, then I know it wasn't that heavy. It was kind of like negative, just regular energy. Sand, that's something. That's an entity. That's something very strong. I usually relate sand to demons or heavy, strong human entities and stuff like that. But majority of what I pull is mostly smoke. I come across sand about 40% of the time. Majority of it's smoke. And also depending on the cases. Like the 18 cases me and Mike have done together, I think almost 15 of those involve demons. Yeah. And then the same with my 32 cases I've done. Like I said, 28 have involved demons. So one case I've done by myself, just a human entity at someone's home. The other was one case with Mike, which is a human entity at their place. But the question, I don't want to keep anyone not knowing. Joy, do you know about my ability? Have you heard about it?
No, just Jen told me a little bit, but not a lot. So I'm curious to know.
Okay.
Yeah, shaman. I think you consider yourself. You said.
Well,
So tell us your 6 names and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my ability, like I said, came to me in September of 2020. Before that point in time, I had no psychic abilities, no mediumship, no this, nothing. I was just a normal guy fascinated with the paranormal. My wife, Megan, she is the very powerful psychic medium that she is, a jack of all trades when it comes to psychic mediumship abilities. Her 4 gift, her main one is remote viewing. She can technically go anywhere to anyone at any time, alive or dead. It doesn't essentially matter. She finds people by just doing that. And she's she kind of minds the field with investigations. If someone's dealing with something, we show them their picture. She can tell us off the bat what they're dealing with and where it is. So that's how she helps us out. But mine, it started in my hands. And what happened is that I can feel the energy. Sorry, not only can I feel the energy, but I can manipulate, control, and change the energy on the other side. So across the ether, higher dimensional planes, whatever you want to call it. And that energy allows me to not only feel when spirits are around, but I can say grab them. And then kind of pull the energy into the side of my hand, about the size of a ball, and force that energy into an object. Not just any object, a King Solomon replica ring. Nothing's fancy, just steel and silver. And I'll explain why I use that versus, say, anything else. But the sensation feels like when your hands go to sleep, that tingling sensation that goes out to your hands. And it starts at the center of my palm and spreads out to my fingers, the closer and stronger the entity is. And then I learned to differentiate which hand charges and what kind of spirit it is. So if my left hand charges, that's a human spirit. That's a person. That's someone on the light positivity side of the spectrum of energy. When my right hand charges, that's something negative, an evil entity, demons, terrible people, whatever you want to call them, negative side of energy. So learning to differentiate, I was able to figure out what I'm dealing with. And I don't get to choose what is what. If this charges or this charges, that's what it is, and that's how it is. But through practice of contacting my spirit guides, getting in touch with that side of spirituality, learning to see through my third eye, all that stuff, I was able to see that it's not essentially a vacuum. It's strings of energy leaving each of my fingertips, firing out, wrapping around an entity like a boa constrictor, pulling and condensing the energy as I'm pulling it towards me. And then I condense it and put it into the ring. And I've been able to do that successfully. And I have to reiterate this every single time. I don't say this to be egotistical or cocky, but nothing has been able to stop me. Nothing. No high-ranking demon, no ancient entities, no elementals, no primordial evil. Nothing has been able to stop me. Things have put up a fight, but stop me? No, nothing's been able to stop me since I've started doing this. Once I grab and I pull, that's it. And the 6 names came to me through the investigations. The first name that came to me was the Shadow Walker, which is my handle. I've been using that forever. It was the first name. There's a woman I spoke to in Australia named Peta. She's part of Ethereal Sisters Paranormal. I interviewed her for the podcast, and I asked her afterwards. It was like December of 2020, because I was desperate to find any information about my ability. So I asked her, "Hey, have you heard about my ability?" I described what I can do. She's like, "You know what? My friend kind of sounds like that. Let me go get her." She was downstairs. So I spoke to her friend Jane. Her friend Jane, a psychic medium, but has an EMA, right, energy manipulation ability that we've come to find with some psychics and mediums who can manipulate energy around them, project shields, put up defenses, or in Jane's case, pull positive energy in and transfer it to the other side, like crossing spirits over. But she never dealt with anything dark. And when she went to her shaman about asking, what is this ability I have? Her shaman told her, you are a psychopomp or a shadow walker. Hence where that name stuck, because psychopomp sounds like a hairstyle. So I kept the shadow walker part. But when I started looking through other faiths and searching in the early days outside Christianity, learning the histories of legends across the world, trying to find any kind of evidence of my ability, I came across a Native American entity called Earthmaker, or Great Spirit in the Sky. And I remember I joked with a guy that I was on a paranormal team with, saying, hey, if that guy's Earthmaker, wouldn't that make you Earthshaker? Right? And I was like, that kind of fits, right? So Earthshaker became a secondary nickname. And I actually earned that one because amongst pulling stuff around me, if I put my hand to the earth, I can feel the negative energy within about 100-yard radius from the point that I put my hand down. Almost like a giant radar or sonar, like almost like picking up everything in a direction. And not only can I feel it, I can pull everything in that, like a giant net got thrown out, sucking up everything to that one point and pulling it out. When I did this, a couple of members on the team felt the earth vibrate around where I was pulling. It's like, oh, the earth is shaking. Then that became more of a sticking, a nickname, Earthshaker. The third came to me when I did my first oppression case, the first ever confirmed demonic oppression case. Um, a friend, family friend to a guy on the team named Mike. He had a family friend who knew he was in the paranormal and he was an investigator. Their son didn't know what was going on with their son. He was being demonically oppressed. They asked for the help. He said, "Do you know anybody who can help us out with this?" Like, I got just a guy, me, and we helped out. So the day before, I decided me and Megan were getting into Nordic faith, Nordic paganism. We started getting more into it. And I decided, hey, let me make an offering to Odin, just to see what happens, right? But we might use his help in battle. So I just got a few little things, some incense, a little figurine of a wolf, and I put it in the ground and said, I'm offering this to the All-Father Odin, watch over me in battle. And when I said that, I heard clearly, as I'm speaking to you, 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬. And 𝙬𝙬𝙬, right? I had to look up that word. 𝙬𝙬𝙬 is a Nordic word that Vikingers used to use back in the age as a compliment. If you were a badass warrior or you were very brave or like the best of a warrior for your chieftain, you would be called his 𝙬𝙬𝙬, right? So ultimate warrior badass. So Vikingers would say to each other, "Oh, you're a 𝙬𝙬𝙬, dude. You're a 𝙬𝙬𝙬." So for the All-Father Odin to call me 𝙬𝙬𝙬 was a big compliment. So I gave my third name Odin's 𝙬𝙬𝙬. So that one kind of attached to there. The fourth is what I was just trying to describe myself. You can't call me a psychic or medium because I can't hear or see them. When I have them in the ring, I can go into the ring and see and talk to them there. If I have tendrils are attached, I can see them at what I'm pulling. But other than that, psychics and mediums, they're kind of like Wi-Fi routers, right? They pick up the signal wirelessly. I'm a hardline. I literally have to plug in order to get a signal. So I wouldn't call myself a psychic or medium. Yeah, that's a good analogy. But I had to look up what other people. And Megan, she did a lot of good research. She found out that there were shamans in Nordic, Aztec, Haitian, and other parts of the world who had shamans who could imprison dark entities and dark energy in their staffs. So I was like, oh, so this is not something new. Some people were doing it before. It had to be learned. So she said these were shamans meant for war. So the fourth name, war shaman, stuck. So to describe myself to other people, I tell them I'm a shaman that was made to do this, born to do this. Other shamans had to spend years learning skills of meditation, getting in contact with that. They need incense, they need spells, they need prayers, they need perfect meditative state. They need all this extra stuff just to get a tenth of what I do with just walking in the room. I don't need anything extra. I just need to be in the room with it. It's said, it's done, it's over with. But I can't really tell anyone I'm a guy that can, do that stuff. So when Mike sells me to other people, he says, "Oh, he's a shaman that is beyond any shaman you ever heard before." But that's why war shaman became a technical name. But the fifth name is what they call me, what the entities call me. They don't call me Shadow Walker. They don't call me Isaac. They call me Order Keeper. I've been called that several times by demons and dark entities. Order Keeper. Right here over the spirit box, the Order Keeper is here. In very sinister style of voice. So the Order Keeper became the fifth name. But the sixth name is the most important because it has the most evidence to figure out what I am, what my abilities are, and what the full extent is. I had surgery, I would say about a year ago now, over my belly button, because I had hernia. And we had a friend like Mike on the team previously. He had many surgeries over his time. He had stomach cancer. He's been under the knife a lot. He's in remission. He's fine. But he told me when you're under anesthesia, you can go, if you meditate, you can go anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, let me see where I can go under surgery, because this is my first surgery. I'm going to be anesthesia for 6 hours to see what I can do. The night before my surgery, the spirits of my grandfather showed up here at our house. Now, it wasn't my grandfather from this time who passed away. It was my grandfather from a past life when I was with the Cheyennes, Cheyenne spirit warrior in the early 1700s. He showed up here talking to Megan, telling Megan to tell me when I go under, go find him. So with that intention in mind, when I went under, And I don't know if you guys ever had surgery before, but it's the weirdest thing in the world. I've never experienced falling asleep and waking up in the same second in hours after.
Freaking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you try to fight it.
Yeah. And then
it feels like a restart, like you're restarting a computer or something. Yeah.
Weirdest thing ever. But I woke up after going under and looking like groggy, looking at Megan, who was sitting right next to me, and I was trying to get out. Like I told her, she was freaking out because I was saying, "I know what my name is. I know what my name is." She's like, "Shh, just nurse is here, right?" And I all I remember from being under for those 6 hours is us sitting in front of a cave on natural stone outcropping around a fire that was blue, like a fire pit that was blue. A fire was blue. Him sitting across from me. Typical Native American get up, look, right? As a Native American man. He said, "You are 𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿, the Reaper of Souls." Right? 𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐿, the Reaper of Souls. That is all I remember from that 6 hours under. I tried meditating to go back to that conversation, but it's just like that is the only thing I remember from that time of being under. And I've looked any kind of evidence on that name. I've talked to natives around here. I've talked to Navajo. I've talked to Apache. I've talked to 𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐻. I've talked to Iroquois people around here. No one knows where the idea what the name comes from. No. And what's strange is that name holds so much mystery because the native spirits that we investigate over here in the Crow-Toe National Forest, they recognize me. They call me that over the spirit box. We hear 𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐻 come over the spirit box, along with some native language I don't understand. And as the also stranger part, when Mike investigated in Vancouver, a Native American burial site area, he asked them about my name. He said, "Do you know the name 𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐻?" And the spirits instantly responded and said, "Ah, yes, he is king."
Almost sounds Hawaiian. Have you looked in like
That's crazy.
Hawaiian? Like a Hawaiian?
Well, 𝐴𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐻𝐿𝐼𝐻𝐻.
Samoan.
Samoan, yeah, something like that. That kind of Tonka.
It's supposed to be a Cheyenne legend or Cheyenne name, right? My grandfather from that time was Cheyenne. At least that's what was told to me by a past life regressionist. And the name is recognized through native spirits over here on the east coast of the United States, all the way on the west coast of Canada, and it's supposed to be considered a central Native American legend. So there's something to the name, and there's more mystery to it than I've ever been told. But that finding that name out and what it means and the legend behind it is the closest evidence I'm ever going to find about my ability, why I have it. You know, a Mexican kid born in Texas, to a family who had no psychic abilities, no mediumship abilities, my entire bloodline, none on both sides of the family. And I come up with this ability that's unlike anything's ever heard before. But with the evolution of my ability, it has allowed me to reach, like I said, through the phone. My tendrils go through the screen, pop from where I am into where you are. Doesn't matter where you are. Grab whatever's there, pull it through the phone into my location where I can imprison it in the ring, which has allowed me, like I said, to do those 32 cases and help people anywhere you got a phone signal, I can reach through. It's kind of like folding fourth dimensional space. Your phone is where it is, mine is here. But when I pull, they're back to back, and I reach through, grab, pull, regardless of how the distance is.
Yeah. I believe it. I believe that spirits can come through.
But it has to be live like this. It can't be like pre-recorded stuff.
No.
Like a Ghost Adventures episode. Like I have to, it has to be real time.
I'm with you. I think it has to be live. So you said in 2020 is when you discovered that you might have an ability or some kind of something.
I know.
I mean, sorry. So what was your, like, what happened to make you?
I don't know. And that's the thing. I've been trying to figure out why I'm 36 now. So I was 33 at the time. And like, why wait till I'm 33? Why not my 20s? Why not soon? You know, it just, why that time and point in space? I couldn't tell you. Megan theorizes that a lot around that time, we were hearing over TikTok, a lot of psychics and mediums were talking about, oh, there's going to be a great awakening. All the psychics are going to start popping and waking up and stuff like that. Which, I mean, granted, you can take it or leave it. I don't know how much you want to believe in that. But I came out of that month. So I don't know who else did. And I found other people who have what me and Megan call EMAs, energy manipulation abilities. They're psychics and mediums, but they have an extra gift to positive energy from, like, say, one hand, or
Mhm.
emit it from themselves, or almost like shield themselves from negative attack. We found a few people. A woman in Seattle who projects positive energy out of her left hand that kind of pushes shit back when she's feeling threatened by dark entities. Mike, who was on my previous team, he could emit it from himself, kind of like a nuclear bomb, like out from himself, all different directions. There's a few other people we met who can kind of project positive energy with pushing stuff out. It's more of like a protection, a positivity projection. Even Megan, who's able to put shields around our home, hence why we are protected here. Nothing has been able to get through her shield, because we got attacked like every single day. Things would come to this house looking for a fight. And of course I would pull. She would wake me up in the middle of the night. Isaac, like, what? It's like something at the door. I'm like, and half awake, pulling my hand out, grab something, put it in the ring, and go back to sleep. So it got to that point. But ever since she learned how to put a shield around the house, nothing's been bothering us. We allow human spirits to come through, which occasionally always happens. I think I saw a little boy down in our den playing with my son's toys for like a split second before I double take, then he's gone. Occasional spirit will come here asking for help, because Megan, like I said, amongst many things of her abilities, she can cross spirits over.
That's great.
Very
That's
cool.
great.
Yeah.
But that's why
The people that you said that did the positive thing, like, do you know how they came to realize that? Like, I wonder how somebody would know. Just curious.
Megan says it's a sensation of feeling, like she feels it. And I describe how I feel it. It's almost like that energy of trying to put two magnets together, like opposites. Like you get that weird energy, and that's what it feels like in my hands when I grab it and move it and stuff like that. And when Megan projects, she puts that kind of energy around, and when she wants to push something back, she kind of feels that from herself. Other people we've talked to, they say it feels like that too. It's like they can feel the energy emit from their hands or their body, and it almost just like they kind of physically push it out from themselves.
Interesting. I'll have to do more research on that.
Yeah, we had a whole episode on it called EMAs, energy manipulation abilities, where we talked about people we've met who have them, and then our theory on what they could possibly be with certain people.
I feel like I'm looking at you talk, and I feel like I've talked to you somewhere, and I don't know where.
Maybe not in this life.
Maybe, I don't know, but I feel like the shaman, everything you're talking about, I feel like I've heard it before. I don't think I've watched, not to be rude, but I don't think I've seen a couple of your guys' stuff on Instagram, but not a lot. But I just feel like there's something more. I don't know.
James said if
Maybe
he
in a
sees
past life, I don't know.
Solomon's ring at a pawn shop, he's not gonna buy it because it has.
I'm not gonna pawn.
He's fucking around. Oh, that's funny.
No, the whole reason the only reason I chose that ring in the first place is because I searched throughout history for anyone who did anything like I did, and the only person known is King Solomon. He was known in the three Abrahamic faiths, all three different stories from Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, depending on who you're talking to. He was known because he imprisoned 70 demons in his ring, because he was graced upon God with great wisdom, hence why he created Psalmetic magic. And the story goes that Archangel Michael gave him a ring saying to use this to imprison demons and using his magic. At least that's how the story tells us. Now, Islam, it says 70 jinns, not 70 demons, 70 jinns. But he used those demons to help build his temple. Shenanigans happened. He lost it and other stuff like that. But I was like, can I do that? Can I push energy in? Can I move it and do that? I don't know. So I tried. Like I said, just bought something simple. And then, yeah, I did it because Megan heard screaming and yelling and swearing coming from the ring. She heard like just people low tone. She said it sounded like a prison. Like when you walk in a prison, you hear all the inmates yelling and screaming at you and stuff like that, but lower tones as she describes it. So that's what it sounds like. But another addition to my ability is that if I were to take your right hand, I could look into your mind forest, or the subconscious part of your mind where all your trauma, all your negativity, all your darkness dwells. And it takes shape in different forms. So and also not can only see it, I can pull it from your subconscious mind. Take that negativity, that junk out of your basement out, clearing it out, And then when that happens, your main spirit guide comes forward. Not your only one, but your main one. For someone to do it to me, they'd be met with a Aztec Jaguar warrior named 𝙭. That's my main spirit guide. He said his name's too hard to pronounce, so he said just call me 𝙭. But which is Spanish for blue. But that ability to look into someone's mind force is what allowed me to look into the ring. And what it looks like in there, if you can imagine a forest after a nuclear blast, right? All the trees burnt black, no foliage, the sky ash covered, the sky is overcast, the ground is ash covered mud and dirt, and everything in there is screaming and yelling, different shapes of shadows and dark entities. Some have horns, some don't. All of them in there. And what it sounds like, for anyone who's curious, if you're a fan of, if you're a fan of Slipknot, I would say listen to the opening track of the Iowa album 515 and times it by 100, and that's what it sounds like.
She said chilies.
Is that like a heavy metal type?
Well, you're not a fan of Slipknot?
Is that like a heavy?
No.
I was like,
yes, there.
I can totally.
What is it? What is it called? I'm gonna listen to it. You got me curious.
The song's called 515. It's the opening track to the Iowa album by Slipknot.
Iowa. Okay, I'm gonna
put
listen to it.
Christy's smiling.
Put it full blast when you do it, okay?
And then you said slow it down.
No, times it by 100.
Fast forward. Okay, fast forward. Okay.
Blast. That's what I'm saying. James says he likes Slipknot, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. I can totally figure it.
Okay.
Do you think you would need another ring ever? No.
Why? Wait, why?
It's
Well, just to let you know, if he ever does,
Bitch, I
got
saw
dibs
Cole.
on the original
What did I
one.
say?
it's
You
endless.
saw Red Hot Chili Peppers pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Slipknot. Listen to me. Whitney says she saw Slipknot while pregnant. I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert while 8 months pregnant. That was fun. Best concert ever.
Now,
Curious. I gotta listen to this. Yeah.
Hey Ryan.
You'll play it right now? No?
I can. But Jen's gonna yell at me because it's gonna be.
No,
Copyright!
you
I'm gonna
too.
mute you guys.
No.
Let me listen to this. Hold on. I'm gonna mute it.
Look, everybody likes Slipknot here except for Joy.
I don't even know who the hell. I'm more of like a teen bop person.
Oh, my God. Get out of here.
Yeah, I know.
She likes
Okay.
Taylor Swift.
No judging.
You only have to play like the first 10 seconds and you get the idea.
Yeah. Do it. Play it so we can all hear the madness.
You want me to play it? Okay, hold on.
Okay. Just do. It's the first. It's right at the beginning.
Is this it?
Yeah.
That.
I'm gonna mute you guys. I gotta listen to this.
Now times that by 100.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
that. That's what I was telling Whitney, because when she had asked, I wrote on the chat that I would think is like what you would imagine straight torture, like
Yeah, that's
most-
like way out of.
you know, like that's what.
Yeah.
That's what. Think that. You know.
Yeah. Joey probably heard of stuff like that, but I guess my.
Right.
The best way I can describe it. But no, to answer Mondo's question, it's not a haunted object, and that became obvious after like 2 years. Well, it should have been obvious after 2 years, because of all the shit I put in there, it would make it the most haunted object in the world if it acted like a haunted object, and it doesn't, because we know haunted objects, they influence the people around them that they're in the home of, and just one demon attached to a haunted object can mess someone's entire house up. And as of last report, I have 86 demons in this ring, confirmed demons in this ring. And there might be more, but confirmed 86. But you're just one of those sons of bitches. This house should be crazy. We should be affected. This house should be heavily haunted, but it isn't. So I was like, wait, then if it's not a haunted object, what is it? And the only conclusion I can come up with is that It's an access point, a portal, the entry point to another dimension, another world where this prison is, where all these things are that has no end. It's continuous. It never ends. It never gets full. It never gets packed. It's just an endless place that they can't escape from. Because I was asked, do I have a name for the ring? And at the time, I didn't. I just kept calling it the ring. But then I thought about it, and a very fitting name is 𝐸𝐵𝐵𝐺𝐸, which is Latin for no escape.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you're also curious what it looks like, this is it right here.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Huh.
Sorry, I was going through the more songs.
Nah, don't do
That's
that.
it. She's gonna be a Slipknot fan in no time.
I'm like,
I wouldn't choose that out for something like
a
that.
little.
Yeah.
Peer
Yeah.
pressure. Wah, wah, wah,
That's
wah, wah.
Yeah. As soon as I hear that I'm like, switch channels. So maybe that's why I didn't hear it. Yeah. No offense to anybody else who says that stuff.
No, you wouldn't. I don't think you would definitely not hear that on a regular.
Yeah. I had friends that listened to it. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, can we just turn off the radio? Yeah, that's a little out of my league.
Oh,
Okay.
Wit said she saw a bad accident. So everybody, please pray for whoever she saw in the accident, flip over, and
Hopefully they're
God.
okay.
the car went on flames. People drive like shit here, and it's spring break, and it's been raining for the past 2 days, like horrendously. So prayers for those
Prayers
people.
to the
Yeah.
parties involved in that.
That's sad.
Mike. So real quick. So when we do say the example of how she said, well, how you do it with you grab the people, you have to be on alive, obviously, and how we did the show with the haunted dolls. Are you afraid? Well, maybe not, I guess, but are you ever worried, Mike, that you're gonna maybe something will try to jump through your side if you're doing a live? Or
I have
have
no
you
worries.
seen anything try to do that? Is what I'm trying to say, escape that way.
You know, in a way, at one point, we were like every other investigator: collect haunted objects, go buy haunted objects. With the gifts that we carry, we have been pretty good at finding, detecting, and purchasing haunted items. But through thought and discussion, where we have now made the decision where, as a paranormal investigators, we have to put our egos aside, bringing this to all the cases that we've done with Isaac and what we now bring either into the home or what we think are bringing into the home. Now, if something was to come to the phone right now, if we sense that, we may give it a few days and see what happens throughout the house. But like I've said before, with any doubt that I have with my home, my children, my wife, myself, it takes a phone call. It's that quick. I mean, for as long as you knew us and what Mondo experienced a few weeks ago, I'm surprised that he went a week suffering the way that he did without being able to lend out that helping hand and being like, we can get this done now. Like, brother, where are you? Like, I think I messaged you right away when I saw that clip on YouTube, like, Jen, what's up with Mondo? And you're like, you picked up on that? I'm like, I saw it. And, it's like Isaac said, it's not to be cocky. It's not to be anything like that. We've done so much now as a team of 4 with Megan and Isaac that there's no denying the fact that what we've done is true. Like helping my brother on a live Instagram live, helping him live with people watching, through house calls, through just meeting people on the street that want a helping hand in search of spirituality or where they're destined to be in life. We can send them off to Megan to either tune in and help adapt into what they think is a psychic ability or not. If it comes into a demonic presence or maybe something uneasy is going around in the house, I can call Isaac. Like just 3 days ago, I had Isaac recheck my son, just for the fact that he started acting strange again. And what we found in the mind forest of my son, who is now 6, was a black wolf. Where he got that from, we don't know. How it got to my son, we don't know. But I do know I called Isaac, he helped my son, and the next day it was like, there's the difference again. There's the feeling that brought us together from the very first moment when this all started into place. And that's what we want to bring to the future of other teams is, yes, there's a way of helping people. You walk into a home case, you set up your equipment, and you investigate. At the end of your investigation, you're going to provide evidence, if that's what they want, to the homeowner. You're going to tell them what you've experienced or what you think you've encountered. You're going to pack up your equipment and you're going to go on with your business. But at the end of the day, do you 100% agree that you helped? Is there a reason why paranormal investigators are returning to house calls when really it should be said and done, right? We haven't experienced that yet. We go into our layout of an investigation is typically the same as everybody else. We get a phone call, we arrive, or we set a day and time where we can sit down and have an interview of the family, who's being affected, when are the worst times of the day of it being affected, where in the home, if it's in the home or if it's somewhere else. And then we take that information, we come back home, we sit down at our little table with Isaac and Megan, and we discuss the case. During that time, when we figure out that, yes, we have all the pieces together to clarify if it's something evil, something just a mild, case in the mind forest, I then call back the homeowner, we arrange a time to go back and speak to them with Isaac already with the heads up that, hey, we're going to be making a phone call. But after this visit, I can guarantee that we're not coming back. And I think the longest time we've spent at a home case to be 100% in and out, we're done, is 35 minutes. That's checking the house, checking who's affected. If it's the son, the mother, the father, the daughter, sometimes there's been times where it's like everybody in the house, oh, can you check my mind forest? Can you check my mind forest? 35 minutes.
I remember him watching him do that. That was pretty cool.
Until this day, knock on wood, guys, there hasn't been a negative downside to anything that we have done. Not one.
So Steve posed a question here. You know how when we do residentials, you always want to make sure the person's maybe not an alcoholic or drug addict, and they have their own, psychosis with that. So he wants to know how, or do you mentally evaluate the people before trying to help them? Maybe it's not really a haunting or whatever they're experiencing. It's something else
mentally.
Yeah, I've had a case like that where it wasn't a haunting, it was something different.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're investigators, we're not psychiatrists, we're not anything like that. So you do have to be cautious when you're approaching that too, right?
Right.
That one's a tough one because depending on what you may think they have could be completely different as well, right?
But that's where Megan comes to the equation, and that's why she's so important to our investigations, because Megan can remote view into a home of said person. All she needs is a picture of the home or even their name. And she can tell us without a shadow of a doubt if something's there, if nothing's there. If this person's being affected essentially by something physically or something there in their home or something going on with their mind. She can tell us that. And sometimes when I speak to someone, I just go in their mind force, clear the junk out, and they're set. Everything has changed. I recently helped out a woman like that. She heard me on another podcast, reached out, talked to her for a little bit. She says she sees a therapist and stuff like that. I evaluate talking to her, what she's dealing with. I try to figure something out. And I go, all right, can I just peek in? Let me see. Go in her mind forest. I found an entity that looked like how she described Uncle Fester from Wednesday. Yeah, and she wasn't wrong. He kind of fucking looked like that. The same big black coat, except he had a hat on, and he was saying weird phrase while walking around in the woods of her mind forest, going bap 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 bap. Just saying that over and over again as he's walking around, with his hands behind his back, like he's like thinking. Pulled him out, removed the dark entity, spoke to her spirit guide, who was a knife thrower for the circus. I don't dictate who gets spirit guides, but that was hers. And she said thank you. She said she felt a little bit different. Next day she felt better, messaged us about it. She literally went to some doctor or something and noticed an actual physical change in her anatomy, how she was a lot better. I didn't plan to do that. It just helped her out. But when it comes to people dealing with mental illnesses or people who just want to reach out to us because they want to reach out to us, Megan can tell us yay or nay. Is this person dealing with something paranormal or is it something else? And Megan's been around. She's felt the energy from people who suffer from schizophrenia, who have multiple personalities, who have a real mental illness. And she knows what it feels like compared to someone who's just a normal person being affected. But that's why Megan is like the minefield of everything. She'll tell us whether or not they're dealing with it. So it's not essentially not a waste of our time, but not severe as the person thinks it is. And maybe we can help them out a different way by pointing them to help with somebody else. But out of all those 32 cases, we haven't had anyone who has been suffering from mental illness that has basically been the explanation for their haunting.
Well, I know when we've done, when we do residentials, at least for War Party, they always bring in, at least for the preliminary, because we always do the preliminary, and then they'll go back if needed. At least one medium or two going to there for the same reason, just to pick up really if it's the person itself doing it or if there is something in the location that's causing, I think that's super important, really.
Yeah, and going back to Black Smoke's question is, I'm a very open and honest person. So when we sit down to conduct the interview, I have no issues with being like, are drugs a factor? Is there a mental illness that runs in the family that we should be aware of? Not because it's my business, but it acts upon our safety. If something's going to blow up from, a certain person, I need to know if we're going to be safe, right? And people have been really generous about being honest with either if it's an addiction or a mental illness, and then we take it from there. Baby steps along the way, we try to reword things. So you don't want to set a person off, especially in their own home. And then from there, we dictate, okay, is the call going to happen sooner than tomorrow? Like, should we just make a call now? Or should we just keep interviewing, maybe go do a walkthrough of the house, take a tour, bring out some minor equipment, see what happens, see if we can find truth to their story. And then again, it's just simple as enough making that phone call and being done, right?
You guys interview people before and like kind of get a background of who you're going,
Yeah. So it's pretty like if the phone was to ring right now and someone was calling me about, they're experiencing paranormal activity or what they believe is paranormal activity. I hate talking on the phone with people. So my go-to right off the hop is, when's the earliest I can come and speak to you in person at the location?
Right.
And I don't think we've waited longer than 24 hours to go to someone's house, sit down with them, talk about what's going on, talk about us, the team, what we do, what we use to help provide the security of you're going to be okay, right? And as long as they agree and sign the paperwork, right, we're good to go. So the moment that pen draws down on that piece of paper, we're either discussing as a team the best way to move forward, or it's, do we call Isaac right now and get him on the phone? And 35 minutes has been our, from phone call to conversation to clearing out a home in less than 24 hours. 35 minutes walking into a house.
Amazing work, guys. Both of you, all three of you guys. Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very interesting. Very interesting, for sure.
Well, because you got to consider something with home cases versus, say, investigating a location. Home cases, those people have already tried to figure it out themselves. They might have called a religious figure. They might have spoken. They might have prayed about it. They might have done whatever. So, and now they got to a point where they become so desperate that they need some clarification. They need help in getting rid of whatever's there. So when they call into an investigator to see what they can do to help them out, their implication is that this investigator can help us out because the investigator might know someone who can help them. And usually, majority of investigators I've spoken to that work, they have a psychic, a medium, a shaman, or a priest might come in to help clear everything out. But that's where I have a problem with said people. Now, they are necessary to have light workers, shamans, priests, psychics, mediums who can do and push to clear out. But what I have a problem with is the idea is that they just push that stuff onto someone else. Yeah, it's not bothering that family anymore, but it's going to bother someone else. Continuing the cycle over and over again. So it goes to someone else, goes somewhere else again and again, repeating it for someone else. I don't do that. I end the cycle. I shut it off. I stop it. It does not have a chance to go anywhere ever again. And I offer these services to anyone. And I offer these services to anyone for free. I never charge anyone a dime for what I do, ever, and never will. I feel it morally wrong to do so. It's like a doctor asking, how much can you pay me before you heal me? So I never would do that, never have done that. But I offer my services like any paranormal team out there that investigates, that any people who go to a home case and stuff like that, do your investigation, collect your evidence. But when it's time and done for the clearing part, contact me. It only takes 30 minutes. I clear the home out, clear the mind forest out, and that family, you can sleep safe knowing that it will never deal with it again, and no family ever will deal with what was there ever again. And it's it's the reason why I have been going on consistent shows. I've talked to a lot of paranormal investigators. I am trying to help that process. I'm trying to minimize the negative energy instead of just keep pushing and sweeping out someone's house and then it goes to somewhere else. It's a continuous cycle that never ends, and it will always be around. That's why I become necessary. My ability is here because it's necessary. It wouldn't have come to me now for no reason other than the universe might have dictated it's necessary for me to be here doing what I do. And that's the obvious thing that's, again, oblivious to some of these things that is realized later on. But with Mike's help and stuff like that, we've been able to help many people in his area. So when Mike finds a case, he goes to them, he dictates, he explains everything, finds a case like that, run his investigations. Now, Mike does his own investigations too around certain other places. If Mike ever feels something is too dark at a location that's there, he'll call me up, I'll video chat, he'll point me in the direction where it is, I'll pull it from there, and he'll go on with his investigation. Because we find out in our investigations as well, when the bullies are removed from a location, all the other spirits all of a sudden can talk more, they can communicate.
That's true. Yeah.
They can start sharing their stories. All of a sudden, all the spirit box goes crazy because they have all these spirits are available to talk. So when investigators, I hear that same old trope. Well, if you take all the dark entities off a location, what are we going to have to investigate? There are human spirits there that are willing to talk to you. You think you're going to get any good answers from a dark entity who only wants to mess with you? You think you're going to get a straight answer from them? No. They're just going to mess with you until the point where they get shit.
Yeah.
Hey, you're 1,000% right. Because half
Absolutely.
the time that we're investigating, we come across a friendly spirit, and then all of a sudden,
Get
boom,
shut down because
something else comes, and it's like the gatekeeper is like,
Yep.
nah.
Yeah.
And we've gotten evidence before on EVPs of two spirits fighting with each other, one wanting to talk to us,
and the other one's like, shut up.
and the other one's telling that spirit, shut up, don't talk to them.
Yep. Like we've heard it plenty of times.
I would really love for you guys to experience a call one time with Isaac. And, like I've explained to a lot of people, Isaac has explained to a lot of people, hearing the story sometimes does not do it justice, right? But the experience, right? The experience is what gets you believing.
Yeah.
What gets you acknowledging the fact that, hey, these guys have found gold, right? Like, if you think about it, it's not to brag, it's not to toot my own horn or, the team's own horn, but as of right now, just here in Canada, we are the only team that can offer the help of the Shadow Walker. The only team in all of Canada that can offer help the way that we offer it. And it all started from when my son was being affected. That was the start of everything. Then from there on, the friendship grew. Home cases started coming around where, to be honest, yeah, sure, anybody can pick up a smudge kit and go smudge someone's house or ask spirits to leave, but what are you really doing with that? Like Isaac said, you're just pushing it off to something else or someone else.
That's because it's always
But-
talked about. That's what everybody talks about doing. That's what
right.
everybody knows. Not
That's
a lot
right.
of people know about what you do, Isaac. So
But
Well, it's
not
like-
a lot of people agree
yeah,
to what he does.
yeah.
And
right now is that
that's, and that's going to be that's just going to be it for a lot of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, if I went to your side of the woods and started investigating locations with you, I started feeling that, say the three of us, the four of us were investigating and I felt that we were in danger.
Mm-hmm.
I have no hesitation of picking up my phone and calling Isaac
Right.
and saying, listen, dude, there's something here. Maybe we're being affected. Can you please check? And he gets on the phone with me and he starts polling that location of all the darkness. And then that's it. The phone call ends. Maybe in your minds as paranormal investigators, well, this guy just fucked up our whole investigation. Like, there goes everything, right? Not looking at the positive side of
Right.
what's actually coming forward now, right?
Yeah.
They're not seeing that. They're just, oh, well, that's done. Time to pack up, call it a night. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
But if you can just, maybe you have a location in mind where it's just a location that you kind of have put up on a shelf where you kind of pop by to when you're bored. Maybe take the advice. Take Isaac with you just one time. You don't need to tell him nothing. Just be like, hey, we're here. Do you mind if I call you? I'm sure he's going to answer the call. But to experience what we've been experiencing for 2 years now,
Mm-hmm.
I think it will change the belief system on how we go into business, whether it's paranormal investigating or just helping the regular person that calls the phone, right? I would honestly, I would love to see your guys' mindsets on taking Isaac onto an investigation.
I would love to take you to. There's 2 places where people go to unalive themselves.
hey,
So I would love to bring you on there.
That would be a good place.
Yeah, there's
Honestly.
2 different places out here that they go. It's very known for people unaliving themselves. I would love to take you on to see what you pick up.
yeah, there's a lot of places in this world that
You're
are
probably going to be bombarded with a bunch of evil shit going on. Yeah, you're probably going to have a lot going on. Hundreds of people have unalived themselves at these locations.
it's like Suicide Forest.
Yes.
Yeah, I
wanna
was just
go there
thinking
so
about that.
bad. Yeah. But yeah.
I was
They
saying
are,
my biggest regret right now is not enough people know who I am, in a sense of reaching out for me for help. If they know, hey, there's a guy out there who can take care of everything in the home in 30 minutes, he doesn't charge anybody. Holy shit, right? We'll get this guy on the phone, and then takes care of the stuff, and it's done. It's done. It's over with.
I think too that people hear about shamans. Like I've heard of shaman, but I don't know what it is. Does that make sense? Like I don't know what it entails. Like I don't know what it's about. I've never really thought about Googling it.
It's a spiritual practice of connection to the other side for those who are not so psychically inclined.
Right.
So for everyone else who has psychic mediumship abilities, you have an automatic connection to the other side. You
Right.
hear them, you see them, however, what psychic ability is stronger for you. Whether it's feeling the emotions of the dead, seeing them, hearing them, seeing in your mind's eye, seeing in your head what is going on, feeling things, touching things, however your connection is to the other side. But
Yes.
as a shaman, it's almost like a spiritual practice. Now, shamans have been throughout history and called different things around the world. You have medicine men on the Native American nations and stuff like that. Same goes for Aztecs and the indigenous peoples of Mexico and South America was considered medicine men or shamans in the essence. But they were always a spiritual connection and a spiritual authority in said tribes. And actually, the word shaman came from the Mongolians in that area before anywhere else. And it kind of became the identity for what you would call a spiritual leader or spiritual connection to the other side. Like you had seers, you had different people that connect to the other side. Vikings had their own shaman in their tribe. The guy's hand you would lick, and he would tell you what your fortune is or what the gods say about your what's going to happen to you. So they all came in depicted different ways. But like I said, what separates me from all of them is the fact that practice has to be learned. You have to spend years going through meditation, through practice, through teachings, learning the histories that associate with your tribe or your culture when it comes to those kinds of people. And then after that, you can be a shaman for them. And it takes, like I said, immense amount of concentration and meditation and prayer to contact your spirit guides, to contact the other people's spirit guides. Then I come along with just my ability and then go in someone's mind forest, clear it out. Hey, there's the spirit guide. That's what he says. And I'm done. They're like, what? You didn't go through any teachings. You didn't go through any lessons, anything like that. And you automatically can do this stuff. I was like, yeah, like I was born to do it. I was made to do it. This ability is naturally in me. And there's no going back from it now. It's not something I can shut off or ignore. It's permanent.
I see that spark in Jen's eye, like she's trying to find the way to ask you to check her mind force. For her.
No.
I think going back on what I said, not a lot of people, when people ask for help, they think psychics. They don't think shaman.
Yeah.
Unless somebody knows somebody. That's what I think I was getting at.
Well, shamans
Or I was getting at. Is people think, oh, I need help. You call a psychic. Shamans are not very,
Well, they're not. There's not a butt ton of them to call.
No.
Right?
Yeah, right.
There's not a lot of them around. You're lucky to meet one who says they are one.
Right.
Around the areas. If you're around Native American reservations, you might find one. That might come to your help you out. But other from that, good luck essentially finding one. So
it's good. Yeah, it's good that you're on. So maybe, and then you guys do what you do and you put it out there. So maybe more people will be, they'll know. Like, hey, maybe we can, instead of going to a psychic who pushes things out or whatever they do, you banish them pretty much.
In prison. They come with me, they go in there, they never leave ever again. And yes, a lot of them are angry to be in there. And a lot of them have made threats. A lot of them have begged, have cried, have asked. They consistently talk to Megan. And funny thing is, they call me Order Keeper, but they call Megan the Witch. That's what they call Megan. Release me, witch, when they hear her yelling from the ring. But of course, Megan's not essentially a practicing witch. Her ability of her EMA kind of would be witch-like, how she puts spells and protection down, but she never really, puts any incense, makes a conjuring, or has like a cauldron, does anything like that, or does anything witchy like. But it's almost like how I'm a natural shaman. She's almost like a natural witch. Or you could chalk it up to the fact that, of course, any psychic and mediums throughout history were called witches. Mm-hmm. So if these entities are from periods of time, they would automatically associate her with witchcraft because she can hear them and see them and stuff like that. So
when you say banish,
something funny about that. Go out and say
where do they go? Where do you put them? In like another room?
No, nowhere. It's
so that's a
ring. The ring I say is like an access point to another world, another dimension of space that doesn't exist anywhere, that no one can access except for me. Or because I could put stuff in that object. And the real thing is going to scratch your head. Would have happened with any object? If I chose any ring, would the same solution happen? Or is it because of the King Solomon symbol is the reason why it's working the way it is? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it's the seal itself, but who knows? Try it with a fucking mood ring. I mean, I don't know.
Who knows what it could have been in another alternate?
No, I'm serious. I just automatically think it's because of the seal. Yeah.
Turns
so-
green when it opens up when he's putting him in there, and then turns black.
like red or something.
We
Well,
just made this into the Ghostbusters.
No, sorry. We have
thing.
jokes. We like to joke.
oh no, that's true. I mean, that's a good thought.
I mean, if you think about it, maybe that's how it works, but just not a moon ring, right? We don't know. I mean,
What was the box called that they put all the stuff in? In Ghostbusters? I forgot what the box was.
Ghostbusters.
Oh,
I just asked him that yesterday, and he answered me, and now he can't remember. So what I was gonna say was, we have gone. There's a lot of times where we've gone to like places, and on the obvious it'll say like, what's in the ring? That's where he keeps the spirits or entities. I would just call them entities.
The ghost trap.
Yeah.
Ghost trap.
Bad guys.
Ghost trap.
Bad guys and girls.
I felt like I had a better ring to it.
Yeah.
A better name to it. Ghost trap sounds so plain Jane.
Ghost trap.
Ghost trap. Yeah, I have one. I have a
we have gone on say like the 𝐵𝐵𝐻 or like any other word bank improv. I don't think I'm trying to think if I've gotten on EVP. I have gotten a spirit box and word banks where it'll be like witch, and then sometimes it's just me and him, and I'm like, are you calling me a witch? Like my ears ringing up. But I've noticed that. So what you said, I think is super relevant to that. Like if it's somebody who's back in the day, they're like, oh, you can do this, or they just deem maybe you talking to spirits, you're a witch because of that or something, I don't know. But you reminded me.
But you're also gifted though, Jen, right?
Yeah, it's a ghost trap, she says. Yeah. So I think
that's right, mother.
I think that's another thing. Like a lot of those things, I think I keep that in the back of my mind while we investigate, and I've noticed certain answers come through in certain locations. And I'm like, are you fucking talking about me? And I'm just like, whatever. I ignore it. I find it funny.
So do you have more than one ring is what Mella wanted to know?
Oh,
No.
No.
No, it's just the one.
I don't want to make more of these things. No, there's one. I've only ever had a need to use one. And like I said, I've been doing this for almost 4 years now. And at last report, like I said, 86 confirmed demons, 5 witches, 4 elementals, 3 skinwalkers, 1 primordial entity, 1 djinn, 1, I believe, dogman, I think. And I have lost.
What? You gotta tell me about that.
I have lost count of how many human dark entities I put in here. It's well over 100,000, well over 1,000. I can tell you that much. So much so that I don't count how many.
So what's going to happen to the ring when you and your wife, are older and your time comes? What's going to happen to the ring?
Pass it on to children who will take my place.
Okay.
Pass it around like in Halloween candy. Here, take the shit.
No, put this on it.
Enjoy.
Put in a safe deposit box.
Well, there's been
I had a question.
I know, me too.
There's been several psychics who we've talked to, friends of ours, who prophesize, and Megan's even seen it in her dreams, that my daughter, whenever she's born, will take my place as the next Shadow Walker. My son, already he's 7, he's showing abilities. We guesstimate from what he can do. He projects positive energy out from his hands. So it's a combination of me and Megan, but he pushes stuff back. I saw him at 3 years old push something into a corner and keep it there until I pulled it. I witnessed him going, no, to something in the corner, and it couldn't get around him. He was holding it back, which I reached out, grabbed it, and I pulled it. And when I pulled it, he turned around, not acknowledging I was there because I didn't make a sound, but watching it where it went. And he was only 3 years old when he did that. So there's a good chance each of my children in the future are going to have a good amount of abilities.
That's awesome, though. That's good.
Yeah.
Carry on your legend.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you? I was just curious. With the ring, then I know obviously you do paranormal investigations. Have you ever tried to just leave your recorder there to see if you pick up any EVPs from the ring itself?
No.
Yeah.
And
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to hear if I leave a recorder next to the ring, what would happen. Megan picks up stuff; she can hear, but she tries not to tune in.
You're gonna
But
hear that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, you want to hear that
515
crap all night.
stuff coming
Hey,
through.
Michael. Hey, Mike. How's
Hey,
it going?
Mike. So that's Michael Hanna. I don't know if you can see him. He's a psychic medium. We had him on the show. Awesome guy.
one of
Yeah.
what he thinks of me. But
I think he just logged on. So
yeah, most psychic mediums have a hard time reading me. It's said I've been told it's like looking at a door with light around it. Like you can see there's something in there, but you can't see what. And I think it's to do some kind of block right here in the third eye, some protection that was put, who knows when, that doesn't allow psychic mediums to really affect me. Also keeps me from being not unpossessable, but at least undamaged, essentially in that way. Like things have tried attacking here in my head, like my mind. If they can't get to me physically, they're trying to get to me mentally, and they always hit the wall. I can feel it sometimes, like a sensation of a headache. It's like almost like you're hearing a high pitched noise, and I know like something's trying to do something. And Megan, of course, she remote views, pops out, looks around, who's doing that? She finds it where it is, and tells me that direction. I reach out if it's too far away and pull it towards me.
That's wow.
Jeez.
Oh, that's what it was. Thank you. You said a key word and it reminded me. Because you said damn it. You said I think human spirits?
Yes.
No, yeah.
Okay, so they were dark, right?
Yes.
Was it because maybe like of how they died, or maybe they killed themselves, or like what do you?
Well, if you were an asshole in life, you most likely be an asshole in death, right? We find a lot of human spirits who were just terrible people who lived a horrible life and then died and are afraid of judgment and stick around here on the planet.
Yes.
And therefore they lose their humanity and become just shadows of what they originally wore. And they abuse, they attack, they keep other spirits in check at certain locations. And we find when I pull those people off, they're gone. And then the spirits are thankful. They a lot of them want to cross over, which Megan kind of creates a mass exodus for all of them to leave. And we don't investigate like most paranormal investigators investigate. We've figured out there's three kinds of investigators, right? There are clout chasers who just are out there just to collect evidence to get famous. That's the only reason they do it. They don't care what spirits they piss off or how much damage they leave a location. They have no idea. They don't care. They get, hey, we got that cool thing moving. Let's post it on YouTube. Let's get famous off it. Those are clout chasers. Then you got the second kind, which are like actual paranormal investigators who go to a location with respect. They want to communicate with the spirits. They want that answer. What happens to us after we die? And they're fascinated with the paranormal world. They are investigators. They collect their evidence to prove to other people this shit is real. And then there's my team. And like I said, the third time, and we're kind of isolated with what we are because we don't go to investigate. We don't need to prove if something's there. We know something's there. We go there to clear all the dark entities out and help as much spirits cross over, and then we're done. So it's not much of an investigation, it's more of a clearing. And when we leave a location, we leave it 90% less haunted than when we found it. So everything spirits have left, all the dark entities are gone, and the spirits that choose to stay, because we don't force anybody to leave. If you want to stay, hey, stay. We find a lot of spirits do choose to stay, to basically now some want to protect the place. Some actually want, because now it's safer for them to exist, because all the bullies are gone. Hey, I can enjoy the space now. And sometimes when we come back like a third time to a location, like around here, they're like, hey, they call us by name.
Exactly likes you.
Michael likes you.
The psychic likes you. Michael's awesome. We love him.
Yeah, he's cool, dude. Yeah.
And then we find a lot of spirits call us by name, and then maybe after a third time of a location, then they're comfortable of leaving.
Sure. Because what you said is absolutely right. There's a place that we go to, and the exact same scenario is what happened. We find that the darker energy there is just an a-hole, and he shuts everybody up in a location. We'll get spirits talking to us, and then it'll just like stop, and you're like, hey, where are you? What happened? And it's just us other guys like, leave, get out of here. F you, whatever. And I'm like, oh, it's this jerk again. And he's like, there's a child spirit there, and he's like, shut him up. Like, he does that. He bullies everybody. So that's 100% correct, like what you're saying. There's always that butthead gatekeeper who's trying to shut up everybody else. And I don't even know why they do that. I mean, because he ain't saying not much. I wonder why they do that. Now I'm just like curious, like why?
Because they don't want them to. They don't
Maybe
want
clear
them
them
to
out?
progress. They want them to stay suffering.
That's
with
true.
them.
Yeah. That's true.
Basically.
That's my
And
perspective on that.
in that one's case, I had asked, did you want me to pray for you? For the one, there was one
Ooh,
there
yeah.
that was really like, like he did something bad and he was scared, exactly how you said. And I knew it. I said it because I felt that's exactly what it was. And then he ended up saying it on the spirit box. We were running Obvious and Spirit Box at the same time. He was scared to move on because he didn't want to, face whatever judgment he thought he was going to face. And I was like, do you want me to pray for you? And he said, yeah. So I started praying for him. Like, he even made me like cry. Like, I was like boo crying. I was like, you have to get off me and that was the first time and only time that's ever happened. Like, I've never had spirit actually come and do that shit. And it was crazy. But he had killed his son, and his son was basically kind of like, maybe, I don't think all of it, but maybe like partially like trapped with him, and he didn't want to let go, and his son was the one that was talking to us first, and then he kind of took over and like told him to be quiet. But he did want me to pray for him, which was weird, but I did. And when I said, do you want me to keep on going, it was crazy because I said a couple, maybe like 2 rounds, and said, do you want me to stop or do you want me to keep on going? And said, keep going. And I was like, holy shit, like never ever had that. So I did that until I was like, okay, I'm good. This is not Saturday Night Mass here. This is at an event we were doing. But that was super interesting.
As I would say, I'm curious to not test him, but I wonder what he gets off it. I'm assuming Michael's still in here watching. And I always ask this of other psychic and mediums, and he's apparently made a impression on you guys, but I want to know, of course he's listening right now, what he hears or what he feels off of this. I'll hold it up there for a little bit.
All right, Michael, if you're here, what do you get off of that ring?
That's gonna be a whole nother video. We're gonna have to bring you guys along.
No, that was before.
That'd be crazy. He said he's very right. Moving spirits forward or crossing them over is the right thing to do. You should have a plan before you go to an investigation. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah.
Let's see if he
Mike, try to see if you can. Michael, try to see if you can pick up on the ring. Let me plug my computer before we all die.
I don't know if you was paying it. You wrote that.
So while we're waiting, how long have you been investigating? How long have you two been investigators?
Me for almost 3 years, and I think Mike's been a lot longer than that though.
He said he couldn't see it, by the way. Michael said he couldn't see it. Can you hold
Put
it up?
it up again.
Yeah.
Hold it up to your thing and let him know. Okay, there. He has it up. Check it out. And then just keep talking.
Michael,
We've been
just type
investigating
when you
for,
see it.
5 years now.
40.
5 years.
5 years?
Man, those 5 years go by fast, right?
Oh yeah.
I feel like so crazy. I don't even know when it was. Isaac and your wife. So tell us a little bit about her, like how she started, how did she come to learn about her abilities and stuff like that, if you want.
Well, Megan's been a psychic medium since birth. Even when she was in the crib at 1 year old, she was talking to her grandfather who passed away. Her mother would walk in and her talking to somebody, and her mother would ask, "Who are you talking to?" And she said, "Grandpa." So it's been something that she's been with her forever, but she kind of put her abilities on hold throughout her teenage years. But every house she's lived in has been haunted, and she's been affected by spirits because they kind of see her as a best way I can put it, like a nightlight in the
That's how I describe it.
Yeah, in the so they're attracted.
Like a little lighthouse.
Yeah, they're attracted to her. So they
Michael, can you read the ring?
What do you feel, Jen? Do you feel any? Usually, I can feel something when I'm
Well,
looking at
hold
them,
on.
but I don't feel nothing. I don't feel.
Okay,
anything.
he says
maybe it's that
whatever it
projection, I don't
is.
know.
He said whatever it is pure energy, but also has a lot of history of activity. Is help many souls.
souls.
Well,
Not what I was looking for.
probably helping get rid of it. Maybe
Yeah.
good energy, not bad energy.
Oh, I wouldn't say good energy. Not in that thing. Not in the least bit.
Yeah.
You want to ask?
Mela said, "Can you read people? I want to be read."
Me? No. I mean, I can go in your mind force, pull your junk out, but other than that, I can't really
Does your
tell.
wife
Yeah,
know?
I've seen
Does your
him
wife-
do that. That's
Does your
Yeah.
wife read people?
yeah, Megan can.
Megan's psychic abilities come with almost. All right, Mike. Megan's psychic abilities go with reading people. She knows something we've figured out is that if she doesn't like somebody for whatever the reason is, she just meets them. They haven't done anything to her. They haven't said a word to her. But if she doesn't like them, there's obviously something wrong. Whether this person is an extremely nice person to begin with, she knows there's something negative there. And they're hiding it, or it's maybe something they've done, or they're going to do, or they are doing. But the intensity of that feeling tells me that, oh, there's something wrong with this person. We need to avoid them, depending on the intensity. If Megan is very adamant about someone saying, I do not like this person, I do not like them, get them away, there's obviously something very evil going on, something sinister, something nefarious. And she's only really had that feeling about like 3 people, but she's also known about other people's kind of things. But reading people, she can't tell you your future. She can't tell you what's wrong with you, if you have this, your dreams, interpretations, nothing like that. What she can do is if you want to talk to someone who passed away, all you got to do is show her their picture, and she can find them wherever they are and talk to them. And she's done this numerous times. My own relatives who's passed away, my friend who passed away, in the room in the house that she described where she found him, it was a house that I stayed over at when he was growing up in high school. I had a friend, my friend Jorma, who passed away in 2005 in a car accident. Me and him were very good friends. Yeah, I was reading his comment. Well, wait till you hear the whole story and then go back and listen. You'll blow your mind. But she was able to find him and find where he was, where his spirit was, and she talks about it like it's a remote viewing, but wherever they are, it's like most of the time when she finds someone who's crossed over, they're always in a place of light. Like they emit light around them, like in a field of reeds with a mountain in the background. That's where she finds most majority of people, or they're at their place where they felt most comfortable. Like when she found my grandfather, who passed away about 5 years ago, she found him in his house in Mexico that he lived in with forever. That wasn't the house that he died in, or at least the last house he owned, but that's a house that he had in Mexico. For some reason, he felt the need to be there. So that's where she found him. Same with my grandmother, who passed away. She found my grandmother at the house in Texas where she last lived. So sometimes it depicts on where the people are. She can find from people like that. If someone was negative when they died, or they're still trapped here in our realm, she finds them in a wooded area, and it's kind of gray, kind of stormy. Like they're still here, they're still trapped or whatever. And oftentimes when she finds these people, they often ask her to cross them over. Like, I need to leave, I need to cross over. Or like we always say, why spirits stick around? Why do ghosts stay around in the first place? Another reason is unfinished business, as we say. Like they have some message to leave before they leave or cross over, or they're scared, or they don't understand, or they're waiting for their parents. But once we explain to them, hey, they're gone, you're dead, this has been a long time, you need to leave, they understand, and that's when Megan crosses them over to the other side. But that's after I take all the dark entities off the playing field to allow them to do so. And sometimes, if spirits are scared and the dark entity is playing games and running away from me, I'll bait the dark entity by having Megan cross everything over. It gets so pissed that it wants to stop this, hauls ass towards us. Then I grab it, I take it, it's done. We've got to do that a couple of times with some entities that see what I did to the first guy and like, holy crap, I'm backing up, and they kind of run away, and then they kind of play on the outskirts, staying as far away as possible. My reach is about, I would say 50, 60 yards. I can reach out and grab something that far away from me. Any further than that, I have to kind of get closer to it.
I can't get over. I feel like I talked to you somewhere, either somebody that sounds like you. I'm like trying to pinpoint it. I don't know.
Well, when I was younger, people told me I looked like Chino Moreno, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. And then when you said shaman, it just like brought up something in the back of like a memory in the back of my. I don't know. I don't know.
Go through her mind.
I guess go through my mind. Come on.
Go in.
No, I always say, if you want me to, I can.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It doesn't stop me if you have resistance, but it does make it easier if you let me in.
How do I do that?
Who
I'm
is
an
asking permission?
asshole. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm an asshole.
Well, let's see what's in there.
You can be like, she's an asshole. Yep. Let me give you some. I don't know how to open it up.
Why is she still
I'm
watching
thinking
Looney
It just-
Tunes?
Oh, how am I
To my
supposed-
knowledge,
am I
it's
supposed
just
to just
asking
like?
is you give them permission to do that.
Oh, okay. I gave you permission. All
Well,
right.
too late.
He already there, girl.
Is he in there? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Relax, drink some water.
I know, right? Okay. All right. Timon.
That got me cracking up.
Why am I holding
Mike,
my
has
breath?
he done this to you?
I'm freaking.
Has he
I'm
done this
holding
to
my
both
breath.
of you?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And to Christy?
Your mind forest is the first forest I've seen like this, right? It's redwoods, like California redwoods, right? The big fucking trees, the real giant ones, right?
Mhm.
And they're tall. I was looking, and mind you, it's daytime as well. And I always said everyone's mind forest is different. It's like from the foliage, from the trees, from the time of day, from how dense they are, how spacious they are. Everyone is different. I've seen hundreds different of a mind forest altogether. So I can't say why you have this versus somebody else. So, but yours was daytime, and the foliage from the trees was creating kind of a dusk time set inside the mind forest, but I can still see everything. Kind of like a rainy day. But I remember just looking up and seeing those redwood trees just everywhere, like a giant forest of them, like giant trees. And I was like a tiny
gloomy, like gloomier, like it's
gloom.
light, but it's kind of. I like gloom, so
Yeah.
okay. I'd rather be.
Because the canopy of trees was blocking the light.
Yeah.
But that's daytime. I couldn't pinpoint where anything was because, like I said, it was vast in there. I felt so tiny in this giant, forest of giant redwood trees. But basically, I just reached out, spin my tendrils, and basically just pulled everything at one time. Good amount of junk, mind you. But then again, the longer we
a lot of junk in my brain.
The longer we live,
yeah.
The longer we live, the more stuff we take. So, like with children, their mind forests are very empty. I'm not saying they have an empty head, but it's like there's not a lot of foliage and trees because they haven't experienced enough to create protection for their stuff. So, like my son, there's like 1 to 2 trees. It's not very vast at all. The open field, sunny sky, and all that stuff. But yours, what I pulled out was all that junk, and I put it in there. When I went back, your spirit guide, your main spirit guide, I thought was a lumberjack because he had an axe. But no, he said, I'm not a lumberjack. I used this weapon when I was alive. When I was alive, I was a highwayman. Because he had a leather coat on, he had a very pointed hat, he had a bandana over his face that he pulled down, and he was wearing like cowboy boots and stuff like this. But why was he in California? I don't know. It's like the redwood forest up there. But he said his name was Thomas when he was alive. Thomas.
Okay.
Sometimes they give me.
I didn't even know that my spirit guy was a girl or guy. I didn't know.
Dude.
I don't think she's ever gotten that information.
I never really asked.
Yeah.
I never really asked.
But he said he was a highwayman when he was alive, because he knew that I knew that word highwayman versus someone else would. Highwaymen, of course, in history they were known for robbing trains, robbing people's carriages along the highway. Hence why they get the name highwaymen. They would jack people essentially right away.
Great. He was a criminal.
He used his axe.
But that's good. That don't mean shit to you, versus you. That's just your guy. That doesn't mean anything.
But instead of a gun, he had like a rifle on his back, but instead of using weapon, he used his axe majority of the time. But But yeah,
He's a badass, right?
he said Thomas, and sometimes they give me 2 names, sometimes they only give me 1, a last name or a first.
Why is my heart like fucking racing right now?
I don't know. That's
Like he's like, yeah. He's telling you. Okay.
Oh,
No, signal's breaking.
that reading was so
That's
good.
That's crazy. I
God.
didn't. Yeah. I honestly, I didn't know if I had a spirit guide. I think somebody told me, but I forgot. But
Everybody has a guide.
yeah.
But I usually
Yeah.
tell people the way you get in contact with said spirit guide is you build a place in your mind when you meditate. It can be something familiar to me, it can be something entirely new, but a place that you know like the back of your hand, that this is your place where you can, every time you meditate, you go to this place like a starting point. And you map it, you create it, you build it, you memorize it. And when you have it that down, then you invite your main spirit guide forward to contact them and talk to them. But I've given you a cheat code. You know what he looks like, and you know his name, so you can call out to him.
So I only have 1, right? I think somebody told me I had 1. I think somebody. That's what I remember.
We all
vaguely.
typically have 3. Some people have more, like 4, but majority of us always have 3. And I just told you who your main one is, not your
Main
own.
one.
Yeah.
And he resides in that part of your mind forest, in that part of your mind, the subconscious dark part, where all, like I said, your trauma and your negativity dwells. He resides there to prevent future transgressors from coming in there and causing more havoc.
I'm telling you, I'm an asshole. I don't let shit bother me. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not even lying. You guys think I'm joking? I'm really an asshole. I'm nice, but I'm an asshole.
She's the nicest asshole you'll ever meet.
Yeah. I'm super nice. Like I like everybody, but I'm an asshole. I can be an asshole.
This space, the mind force, when I go in someone's mind force, that space, when we're dealing with oppression cases, demonic oppression, we find that demons leave a copy of themselves, and I call a failsafe in this part of someone's mind force to basically either mark the person, saying that that person's capable of oppression, hey, go get them, to other dark entities, or a way to find their way back to the person if they're pushed out. So when I take something from a location, I have to go into the person who's being oppressed mind force, pull that out to basically clear everything out 100%.
Okay.
And yeah, you were asking Mike, I've been in theirs before. I know who their spirit. I've been in theirs several times, so I know who the spirit guides are and what it looks like and everything like that.
Jen,
What
can
you,
you? I know
what you
we're
just
going
said
on.
makes so much sense to me. Like, say in the case of Armando with the whole thing that happened to him. Not to bring that shit up again, but I always in the back of my head I was like, is it possible? I would think it is possible, but he's more susceptible to that happening because of what you just said.
Yeah.
So I've never heard anybody ever say that. This is just a thought that came across my mind when that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? But now hearing you say that, I was like, I mean, it makes sense. To me, it makes sense what you're saying.
So do you think that I'm easily affected when I go to locations, or do you think
everyone is?
Yeah,
I mean, if I'm not wearing protection of any kind, whether it be a stone, a religious symbol, or something, you're easy can get affected. We all pick up shit living our lives, going to being around other people. Their negative emotions we'll pick up on. You get like a little bit of junk on your shoe, essentially, and you bring it back in your house. That's why
hospitals, anywhere.
Yeah, that's why I talked to Mike. We have our weekly calls. I reach into his place, pull any junk he might have picked up throughout his week. Other people, I would say, this is why I have a problem with people when they talk about like incense or what's that? When you burn the fucking sage. Sage is not a solution for removing dark entities. It's a band-aid for a broken leg. If you have something in your home that's oppressing you, sage is a band-aid for a broken leg. It's good removing that daily negative energy you might pick up throughout your week and getting rid of that muck and that junk. But an entity, no, that's all it's going to do is piss it off and make it leave for a little bit, and then it'll come back with a vengeance.
Right, yeah. What's the other one? It's not sage. There's another one. Yeah, there's something that's supposed to be better than sage. Do you know
if you want to call me later, I'm available. I'm not doing anything later.
You're talking about Palo Santo?
Palo Santo, maybe that's it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put you in my favorites on my Instagram if you don't mind.
No, you're fine.
Slide through the ends. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. I never knew about my spirit guide. I'm a little excited. He's a badass. Well, I
But
don't be
also,
badass.
I've never been able to figure out why certain people have certain spirit guides. But one thing I did figure out is if you have a warrior or a fighter or anyone who's been in combat or is known to be a fighter, it's because you or be faced with a lot of conflict in your life. Like you're going to be consistently in a conflict kind of situation, always and forever. A lot of paranormal investigators I've met have warriors for spirit guides. Like Mike has a knight from medieval times in full armor with a giant claymore sword and that kind of stuff. But what's funny is that Christy has a ballerina.
That's good.
Black Swan over here.
That's all right.
She's like, she doesn't like me telling people that. It's fine.
No, Christy. Is it really a ballerina though?
Twinkle toe.
You're lying. Are you serious?
It's a ballerina.
That's cool though.
I mean, but why? I think that's kind of. I've never heard that.
And like I said,
why. Now you know.
Okay. Yeah.
That I can.
You know what?
Michael said when this is over.
The little insight with Christy's spirit guide, though. Christy went through a period of time where she kept saying "fucking twinkle toes," right? Fucking twinkle toes. And at work,
That was fucking hilarious.
things would start falling around Christy at work. And during a work period, she actually tuned in to figure out what's going on with twinkle toes. Well, one, what the ballerina has come forward to say to Christy is, I hate when you call me twinkle toes. That's number one.
Bro.
Number two, her spirit guide mentioned to her, you need to learn more about yourself and me. You have to disregard of the idea of me being a ballerina. You have to see past the ballerina to get what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So as much as it bugs her, there's a reasoning somewhere else within that spirit guide that
absolutely
she has chosen Christy.
Yeah. Yeah, I would see like tutu and
always something.
Little fairy and tutu, yeah.
But it doesn't also help that one thing I've noticed with certain people, when I enter their mind forest, if I search enough in their forest, I find a big concrete circle slab. And most of the time, there's an emblem almost carved in the stone. I always relate to maybe it's their symbol for protection. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean something like that. So like say, mine is the 𝐵𝐺𝐻𝐺 rune, right? The Y with the line through it, the 𝐵𝐺𝐻𝐺 rune. Megan's, my wife, is a pentagram. And pentagrams essentially always never been associated with evil, but when used properly, there can be a positive symbol.
I heard that.
Mike has the Celtic knot, right? It's that looping situation that goes like that on his slab. But also when I grab this slab, I turn it and I pick it up, there is a color inside the cylinder that I assume is their essence of their color, or people call their aura color or something. Like Mike's is blue, mine is blue, Christy's is pink.
Didn't you tell me mine, Jen? You told me mine before. What was mine?
Purple. I saw purple for some reason.
Okay, yeah.
Megan has purple, like hers is purple inside. The energy of what it looks like is purple.
Does it mean different stuff with different colors?
I don't know. I never looked that far into it.
I think so. I see Christy like it makes so sense. I see her so. I love her. Like I see her so like just the embodiment. Like with I'm gonna do it straight to tarot. Like she's the Empress card to me. Like the motherly figure, super like sweet, feminine, caring. Like that's how when I see her, that's all like I get on my mind. So I think that to me it totally makes sense. I like it.
Oh, me?
No, for Christy. So when you said ballerina, I was like, oh, like I love that because I totally can envision that.
Yeah. Soft, yeah.
I feel special.
Look, make me tear.
Yeah.
But I've come in contact with all my spirit guides. I know them by name. I've seen their faces. When I meditate, I go to my mind forest that I built in my place of meditation. They're all warriors. They're all fighters on their own. Well, except for the fourth. She's kind of a mother figure. But an Aztec jaguar warrior named 𝙐𝙗𝙬𝙣𝙤𝙤𝙤, a Vikinger named Odin, a gunslinger named Harold, and then the fourth, who came later, she's a Native American woman named 𝙀𝙀🙗. And she's kind of like almost in charge, kind of a boss. Okay, I was reading his little thing, but those are my 4 spirit guides. And when I meditate, when I discuss things with them, we discuss like my ability, cases. You do weekly meetings. I do anytime, man. Whenever you want to message me about doing anytime, I can do it after this, or however long we plan to go. I don't know how long you plan you guys to go, but I'm down for however.
Right, literally, by 9 o'clock we'll be cutting off.
Yeah.
But contact with spirit guides, that's something that I've already technically mastered with my own. And then this is what I try to help people get trained with, like how to figure out how to do that, because I base it on what I did. There's a YouTube video, actually, find your spirit guide or contact your spirit guide. It's kind of like a walkthrough meditation. A friend of mine did it. He said he came in contact with his grandfather and spoke to him a little bit in a place of meditation. So it might work for some other people too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, guys, this is coming up on 2 hours, I think, right? Can I math right? Yes.
Yeah, your math is correct.
My math is right tonight.
But I want to thank everybody in the live chat. You guys have been really active today. I want to thank all of you.
They're always active,
but especially tonight.
Very
you guys,
good.
great questions, great interactions. Thank you very much. I'm very happy that we were able to have Mike and Christy from Unknown Paranormal and Phil, even though he's not here. They've been actually one of our first friends outside of Florida that ever contacted us. So we've known them for quite a long time. So
Unknown
thank you
Paranormal.
guys for your friendship. Where can the good folks find you guys?
No, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate this. And I wish we could have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
thank you.
it took us to have our own show to
Yeah.
be able to do this.
Yeah.
But hey, don't mean we can't call each other,
part
right?
2. Dante said
Part 2, let's do it.
Yeah,
definitely. We'll definitely do that for sure.
So this is my first time meeting you both, so hello.
Yes, nice to meet you. Thank you again for joining us.
She's like, I never met these people. I'm like,
Yeah,
these people are awesome.
I think we follow each other, but I just
you're right. I think we do.
Like, you don't if you don't interact with people, it pushes everybody back.
Yeah.
So you only see certain people you really talk to. But yeah, no, I'm gonna start checking your stuff out.
And I haven't known that you've been working with Isaac. I know Jenny's been more in updated with you guys on that, but I do want to reiterate again, you guys are doing phenomenal work, all of you guys, to be able to get a rapid resolution for all those people, to give them the peace of mind that they can live a peaceful life. That's amazing what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Literally God's work. So, I definitely appreciate that, and hearing those results that you've been getting. Amazing job.
Thank you,
so, I hope you guys or the viewers out there, if you have any type of problems or anything that you need to contact, feel free to contact Mike and Christy at Unknown Paranormal and also Isaac. Guys, please plug your socials so that way the viewers can find you if they feel more comfortable just DMing you.
Yeah.
Instead of
if you don't mind, I'm
going
to share your stuff on my stuff too. If you guys don't mind me sharing your stuff.
But I mean, that goes for you guys too up there. Hey, Jen, Mondo, and everybody else. Don't hesitate. If you, when in doubt, make that call, guys. The only way, like the way I see it, is the paranormal doesn't matter where we're from. We're one big family. And that's the way that it should be carried out for as long as we can get it going that way. So, any little hesitation, Isaac is at your guys' disposal at any time that you need a second opinion. Maybe it's on a location, or maybe it is with a client. I really hope that we can bring this family a little bit tighter, and we can start accomplishing a lot more with a lot bigger variety of people as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
More people need to know about what you do.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And the fact that you do it because you want to do it and you're not charging. Michael's the same way. He doesn't do it. He doesn't get paid to do this stuff. He does it because, this is what he does. He likes helping people.
But
No,
you
we
know
don't-
what?
we
It's
don't
the
charge for
gratitude of
sessions.
the person that needs the help. The gratitude, just the fact that you know that you've alleviated that,
Yeah.
you know, horrible time that they're experiencing. You were able to alleviate that from them. That's your payment right there.
That's right.
That's worth more to you guys than money at that point. So that's why what you guys are doing, amazing job.
Well, you
man.
have to look at
I
it
can't.
as in if like you were in that situation. Could you imagine
Mhm.
first
I
off
know.
plucking the courage up to call people that investigate something you can't
Mhm.
physically see and then being like,
Joy.
all right, that's going to be $1,000 for me to come into your house. How do you charge for something you can't physically see?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, they're discussing stuff in the chat.
I
No,
know. Just what I was like.
but
Go.
I do it because I have to now, and I do it because I can, and I do it because if knowing what I can do now and not to do anything feels selfish to do so. I know I can help someone out faster than anyone else in the world can. I know I can do this permanently. I know I can do it efficiently, and I can know I do. There's nothing that was ever going to stop me. So, like I said, to sit on the sideline with all this knowledge now would be selfish to do so. So I have to. And the more people know about my ability, the more people they can talk to others. Hey, I know this guy who can help you out pretty quick. He does it for free. He'll take care of it, and it will never come back. But what? Yeah, let me talk to him. And then boom, call, done with. You walk me through your house. It's said, it's over with, and you never have to worry about it ever again. And that kind of absolution and solution, not a lot of people offer, and especially for free. So, that's why, like I said, my biggest regret right now is not enough people know who I am, so they can easily reach out and call me at any point in time, schedule time for me to do what it needs to be done for their home or for their mind, whatever that situation they need help with. But I was going to say my socials, where everybody can find me. You can find me and Megan at Hidden the Shadows Podcast on Instagram, Hidden the Shaw 6 on X, Hidden the Shadows Podcast 2 on TikTok, or links to all our social media and all ways you can find us at hiddenshadowspodcast.com or our paranormal page, Hidden Shadows Paranormal. You can message us there and stuff like that. So if you have any messages you need help
Gotta
with,
get an Instagram, Michael. Sorry.
Michael never has an Instagram.
No. Are
or
you guys on?
email us to the website.
Are you on Facebook by chance?
Hidden Shadows Podcast is on Facebook as well.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, Michael.
I think Hidden Shadows Podcast is on Facebook. Megan handles the Facebook part. I haven't had a Facebook in about 4 years, so I've been on Instagram and TikTok the entire time. But you can message us to the website, email us, however you feel like you need to communicate. Whatever works well. But we release our podcasts every week. At least try to every week. Sometimes we have cases, and that kind of takes us away from doing the episodes. So, but I've actually had a 6-part series where I talk about my ability. I go in depth about, you hear the progression of how it evolved, when it started to how it is now. We also have 4 testimonial episodes, 4 different people we've helped out. Dal, we talked about a little earlier in the episode. She's been the most impactful. Like when you hear her speak, you hear the emotion in her voice of how it was and how it is now. And that episode, Mike is on it with me, and he basically tells his point of view of what he witnessed, what he experienced while he was on the call with me, helping her out.
And where can people find that?
You can find the podcast anywhere you find podcasts. Wherever you listen to podcasts,
Okay.
iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find Hidden Shadows Podcast.
Do you guys have a YouTube channel for your podcast?
Yes, it's audio only.
Yeah.
That's audio. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. No, Hidden in the Shadow. That's why I was.
What about you, Unknown Paranormal? Do you guys have a YouTube?
We got YouTube,
Yes.
The Unknown Paranormal,
Okay.
and you can. Our major link to us is Instagram.
Instagram.
At The Unknown
Same here.
Paranormal.
Yeah. All righty.
All right, Joy, tell us where they can find you.
Find me on Instagram at jj.paranormal. I change my name all the time. This is why I make a joke out of it. And then Joy and Joey on YouTube. And then
And everybody, you can find us at 305
club.
Paranormal.
Oh.
Everywhere. That's it.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you guys for coming
No,
on.
thank you guys for coming on. Hey guys, don't stick. Hold on
Stick
when we end the
around.
live.
Yeah.
And the folks,
Thank you all for
Thank
being
you
here.
again.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. You guys are
We'll
awesome.
see you next week.
Yes.
See you next week. Have a good week, everybody.
Bye, guys.